Hey, good Friday morning, folks. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa, your morning MLive weather update. And let's get her going and see if you got any questions, too, about what's going on for the weekend weather. Right now, just a slow-moving storm system coming through the region, but struggling to have enough cold air for it to be of the wintry kind. Now, that's not to say that we will not have any wintry weather over the weekend, but it will be really on the borderline a lot of times between rain versus snow. So let's take a look at what's going on here. And let me get the questions up. Hey, good morning, Ryan Lynch. There you are, everybody. And Darlene Payment watching. Thank you. All right, so what are we going to talk about today in weather? We are going to talk about a slow-moving wet weather system that'll struggle to make snow, and how long is this warm weather going to last? We'll look out 10 days also. So radar shows the storm center is over in Illinois. All this precipitation is rotating around it. And I don't want to make you think that it's an all weekend long precipitation event. It looks like there's a slug of more solid precipitation down to our south, Ohio and Indiana, that will be lifting north into southern Michigan this morning into early afternoon. So I would say the more consistent wet weather will be today. After today, it goes to more sporadic, half hour here, stopping for several hours, maybe another half hour back into the area. Hey, good morning, Victor Vincent from Auburn, Michigan, and Kimberly Zesimer. Good morning. Hey, Ken Frierson Jr., thank you for watching this morning. Jody Veld here, driving to Chicago and back Sunday. Will roads be okay for travel? It shouldn't be too bad. Again, the whole weekend, from now through the weekend, we have a lot of temperatures in the mid 30s to even upper 30s. Tough to get interstates in too bad of shape when it's something like that. Here's your radar forecast. Okay, and again, we're looking at today, and there's that area of rain, probably at times mixed with snow. This is the other theme on this storm system. You know, with 32 to 35 temperatures aloft, just on the verge of rain versus snow. Daylight hours, when it's a couple degrees warmer, it'll lean toward rain. Nighttime hours, when it's a degree or two cooler, it could lean toward snow. Hey, good morning, Harrison and Lake George. Greg. Okay, so we're into tonight, and now we're into Saturday. And again, it starts to become, you get to Saturday tonight when it's a little cooler. West side of the state could lean towards snow. The real snow with this is over in Wisconsin, northern Illinois tonight, where 3 to 6 inches could fall. And then we kind of spin out of the storm. Even though the storm is over us, it kind of spins out away. And that's why I say tomorrow becomes more sporadic. There might even be more daylight hours dry than wet. And as we get into Sunday morning, areas of snow still spinning around, but still running at about 32 to 35 degrees. Here are the temperatures. You can see that on the temperature forecast that as we move along here today, a lot of mid 30s, a lot of 33 to 35. And as we move into Saturday afternoon, again, same deal. And this is Saturday afternoon. You're looking at a lot of 35, 37s. Hey, shout out to Frankenmuth Snowfest, and very comfortable conditions to walk around. You could get wet from time to time, but you won't get blown away with a cold wind chill, and the temperatures will be very comfortable. And the snow sculptures, ice sculptures stay pretty good at 32 to 35. They don't really do a whole lot of melting. Michael Harris, I'm in Saginaw. Thank for your all-wheel drive car. Yes. Oh, by the way, there are some reported spots of freezing drizzle this morning. So how widespread is that? Has anybody found or encountered that yet? Looking at the forecast here, see just no temperature movement as we go through the weekend. Ryan Lynch, snow total for Byron this weekend. Byron, I'd say 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches. All right, here's our European model for snowfall totals. And again, southeast half, Saginaw to Lansing, south and east, 1 to 3, leaning more toward the 1. Also transient, you could get a little burst of snow, 1 or 2 inches, then it goes up to 35 and goes back down and goes up and goes back down. Hey, good morning, Frank. I'm going to try it. Tomaszewski? Or is it Tomaszewski? I've learned that from the south end of Bay City. There's a lot of different ways to pronounce the Polish names. All right, northwest side of the state. Let's call it 2 to 5 inches, with the 2 and 3 being more common. So I don't want you to think that there isn't any snow this weekend, but again, it's really tough. And a good interstate or a state highway like US 10, M115, 7523, 1 plowing, salting, cars driving on it, and we should then have wet roadways in a lot of places. This is another model that I like, and it shows about the same thing. It shows little, if any, accumulation in the southeast half, and then it shows a little bit lesser amount than the European, but about the same deal. So let's call it a 1-2 inch snow in the southeast. Let's call it a 2 to 5 in the northwest half. Grand Rapids, you're in the 2 to 5, but more on the 2 or 3 end there. Okay. Any cold air anywhere in sight. What you're looking at here. Hey, good morning, Gary Lepley from Key West, Florida. How is it there? Megan Bushong, what is happening in Clare? Rain and snow, lean toward rain during the day, lean toward snow at night, and a couple of inches. Claire, there's a little spot in the center of the state, 2 to 4 inches. Possible. Hey, thank you, Michael Harris. Hope you have a good weekend too. All right, now what you're looking at is the European model, the forecast temperature deviation. So deviation from normal. If you look at the legend on the right, you can see where you see that. I don't know what color you call it, pinkish. That's 20 degrees warmer than normal. And so we're going to just look at this and see if there's any cold air coming in anywhere in the next 10 days. We're into Sunday. The warmth is really there. Warmer than normal is really there in Canada. And hard to get cold if Canada has warm air just to our north, where our cold typically comes from. Vicki Hadcroft, Tawas, probably looking at 2 to 4 inches total, but it's wet stuff. It can go away and come back through the weekend. Now we're into next weekend. We're into Saturday, and we ended at 10 days. Look at 10 days out. Look what's happening out west. Now, there is a lot of variance in this model, so I wouldn't take this as being extremely consistent, extremely confident, highly confident, but it's already developing another warm spell off to the west. Close to 70 already in Key West, says Gary Lepley. Lucky you. Hey, Tom Lawrence, good morning. And Wayne Lynch, good morning also. All right, let's look at one last thing for you. Let's look at the experts and what they say on, let me move this a little bit, what they say on temperature. Okay, here's your 6 to 10 day temperature forecast, and that is, okay, there's your 6 to 10 day temperature forecast. That is valid for January 28th to February 1st. Stan Hubble, yes, red is the warm air. Good morning, Sandy Eisler. Detroit Metro, any snow, Todd Kirby? Snow in the air, maybe 1 or 2 inches on your car, but on the sidewalks, driveways, roads, probably not a whole lot. Hey, Jim McGuire is checking in from Punta Gorda. in Florida. That's a nice place. All right, here's your 6 to 10 day forecast. Here's your 8 to 14 day forecast. Okay, and that is up to February 5th. Now, the Weather Service still, as of last week, forecasted a flip-flop in the first 2 weeks of February. There are signs of some colder air at some point in the first 2 weeks of February, but it keeps fading away. You know, the models try to do it, and then they keep making it disappear as it gets closer and more certain, 8, 9, 10 days out. So I think we got to say the trend is our friend if you don't want wintry weather, and the trend is that there's just no cold air anywhere close. This is historically the coldest week of the year. Yes, Frank, that is, I'm going to call you Frank T. Okay, how does that sound? Yes, that is exactly correct. The late January, coldest week of the year. So that's one thing we're skating by with. And you know, the average high temperature starts to go up at most locations in Michigan by February 7th. It's a slow track after that, 1 degree every 5 days in February, and then in March it starts to really take off. And of course, we know February, March can be just flat out winter months, but the point being is the sun is gaining strength, and we get to a point that I've found in late February, early March, if you get sunshine, it's hard to stay below the freezing mark. How's the weather in Flint going to be, Tim Wilson? You're going to have the scattered rain and snow showers also. Lean toward rain during the day. Lean toward snow at night, but a real wet snow that'll have a tough time. All right, there you go. Hey, it's Friday, so thank you for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. You're watching MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa, and we'll get through the weekend. If we need any weather updates, I will be certain to give those to you. And you have yourselves a great Friday. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa.